everyone. I'm Rochelle Chernowski. This is Shell Point Today for the weekend of March 21st, 22nd, and 23rd. On today's show, we preview this evening's concert starring the Shell Point Tone Chimes players. But first, if you look on pages 14 and 15 of your Shell Point Life magazine, you'll read about how residents are embracing LifeQuest, our wellness program that explores 6 dimensions of wellness. Of course, when most people think of wellness, they immediately think of the physical dimension. But there is also a dimension of wellness that includes getting in touch with the natural environment. And that's pretty easy here at Shell Point. We're surrounded by water, beautiful landscaping, and unique birds and wildlife. Learn how nature can help make you well by attending the LifeQuest group discussion, led by our nature expert, Bev Chanley. It happens Saturday at 10 a.m. in the Grand Cypress Room, and all are welcome. Meanwhile, Friday night in the Grand Cypress, you're invited to a free concert from the Shell Point Tone Chimes players. Tone chimes are devices similar to handbells, but with a sound all their own. When all the tone chimes are played together, it makes a uniquely wonderful sound. Here's a sample of what the Shell Point Tone Chimes players create. Come hear more of these beautiful sounds at the Tone Chimes concert, Friday night at 7 p.m. in the Grand Cypress Room. It's a free concert and all are welcome. Now, before we replay some of the week's best stories from Shell Point TV, let's cover all of this weekend's happenings, academy news, menus, and church news.
Welcome to the weekend edition of Shell Point TV's Happenings segment. I'm Bev Chandley with Leslie Brand, and we're going to go over Friday, Saturday, and Sunday activities for you. We're going to start out on Friday morning with 8 o'clock men's match play doubles tennis down at the Woodlands tennis courts. And at 8:15, the stamp ministry will be busy down in the tunnel in the stamp room. 8:30 to 11:30, you'll find the marketplace set up in the administration courtyard. The Pavilion Auxiliary orientation will be in the hospitality room of the Village Church at 9:15. At 9:30, the Susie Q will be heading out to the Green Flash for lunch. You do need to sign up for those trips. At 10 o'clock, canasta will be played in the game room of the Woodlands. At 10 o'clock, we have the men's match play doubles tennis down at the Woodlands tennis courts. At 10:15, we have the Inquiring Minds. They gather in the Manatee Room on the island. We're going to move to the afternoon activities now with 12:30 Mixed Progressive Bridge. That's in the game room of the Woodlands. At 1:15, table tennis will be going on in the Tarpon Room. Also at 1:15, the Quilters will be in the Osprey Room. 1:30 to 3:30, the Model Train Room will be open for tours. And also at 1:30, we have Vespers in the Community Room of the Arbor. We're going to move to 2 o'clock, where Bid Euchre will be played in the Sable Room at the Woodlands. The Great Decisions Group will be in the Manatee Room at 2:45. Also at 2:45, we have Vespers, this time in the Community Room of King's Crown. Well, it's game night at the Resident Activities Center at 6:45, so head on down there for some fun. And we conclude our Friday activities with a 7 o'clock Tone Chimes Spring Concert. That'll be in the Grand Cypress Room of the Woodlands. Now here's Leslie for Saturday's activities.
Thank you, Bev. We're going to start at 8 o'clock with the Round Robins Doubles Tennis at the tennis courts. 9 o'clock, pickleball with the pickleball court. Women's doubles will be at 9:30 at the tennis courts. 9:45, duplicate bridge in the Manatee Room. 10 o'clock, we have the Life Quest group discussion in the Grand Cypress Room at the Woodlands. 10:15, Model Yacht Sailing Club at the Garden Apartment Pond. 10:15, Planning as a Matter of Stewardship, and it's a Legacy Foundation at the Hospitality Room at the Village Church. 1 o'clock, Chess in the Library Lounge at the Resident Activity Center. 1:15, Table Tennis in the Tarpon Room. Basic line dancing will be at 3:15 in the Health Club on the island. 6:15, Symphony Classical Series will be held at the Barbara B. Mann. Court pickups will start at 6:15 on the island, 6:25 at the Woodlands, and 6:35 at Eagles Preserve. And lastly, for Saturday is 6:30 Duplicate Bridge in the Manatee Room on the island. Now here's Bev to tell everyone Sunday's activities.
Thank you, Leslie. We're going to start out at 9 o'clock with the Christian Life Studies. That'll be in the game room of the Woodlands. We also have Christian Life Studies at the Village Church at 9:15. 10:15 is the time for our morning worship service at the Village Church. It's also broadcast live on Shell Point TV, Channel 12. At 1:30, we have the Mixed Golf League at the Shell Point Golf Club. 2:30 is the time we have the Sunday matinee. The movie's House Calls. It's a 1978 film. That'll be shown in the Grand Cypress Room at the Woodlands. At 3:15, we have ballroom line dancing for beginners in the Health Club. And we'll round out our Sunday and our weekend at 6:15 with our evening service at the Village Church. Thank you for joining us this weekend, and we will be back here again next week.
Hi, I'm Terry Kolath with your Academy information for the weekend. In addition to all of our classes continuing in the series, we have 2 new classes coming next week. Both of them are on Tuesday. Pakistan and Afghanistan with Professor Adrian Kerr, Session 2. And Academy on the Go travels to Butterfly World.
Menus for your weekend. In the Crystal Room, the Crystal Platter on Friday is baby clams in olive oil and wine sauce over whole wheat linguine. The dinner special is the seafood buffet for $15.95, and the soup of the day is New England clam chowder. In the Island Cafe for lunch on Friday, the special is a tuna melt with slaw and chips for $7.25. The dinner special is Chef's Choice for $8.25. Dinner specials in the Palm Grill on Friday are lamb chops for $22.95 or striped sea bass for $16.95. On Saturday, the Crystal Room is closed. In the Island Cafe for lunch on Saturday, the special is a barbecue beef sandwich with fries for $7.25. The dinner special is tilapia parmesan with rice pilaf, mixed salad, and a dinner roll for $8.25. Dinner specials in the Palm Grill on Saturday are prime rib for $19.95 or crab Newburg for $17.95. On Sunday, the Crystal Room features its Sunday brunch for $17.50. In the Island Cafe for lunch on Sunday, enjoy a ham and BLT wrap with chips for $7.25. The dinner special is Chef's Choice for $8.25, and the Palm Grill is closed on Sundays. All menus are available 24 hours a day at www.shellpoint.net.
Hi, I'm Randy Woods, and I'm here today with Glenda Stephenson as we look forward to the weekend, sharing together Sunday morning and evening here at the Village Church as we worship together and celebrate God's goodness together. Glenda, this past week we've had several visitors here in the community, and Sunday morning we welcome a guest speaker. Can you tell us about this one who's coming from the Latin American region?
This is Timothy Wendell, and he is our regional director for the Christian Missionary Alliance, and that means he oversees all of our ministries in our Latin American countries, South America, Central America, and he has been leading a conference, their annual regional meeting that has been taking place here at Shell Point this past week. We've had lots of guests here throughout the week, and we're really looking forward to hearing from Timothy on Sunday morning.
So he'll be speaking Sunday morning, and also I know many of us have supported the ministry of the Gideons, some financially, others are actually actively involved. But don't we have a special speaker as well on Sunday to give us a report about the Gideons ministry?
We do. It'll be a very brief report at the beginning of our service, and then there'll be an opportunity for those that would like to participate in a special offering for the Gideon ministry as well as they leave that morning.
Yeah. Looking forward to as well as the choir shares week after week. Last weekend we had the joy of singing with Ron and Gary Matthews, and this Sunday we're singing a contemporary anthem, How Deep the Father's Love for Us. So we look forward to sharing that. Calvin Johansson will be playing the organ. I'm looking forward to his ministry. He's such a talented musician and a joy to work with. So he'll be playing, the choir singing, their guest speakers, and also Pastor Andy will be leading the worship service Sunday morning as well as sharing in the time of prayer. And in the evening, he's continuing his series on the study of grace. Is that correct?
It is, and I think this particular evening he'll be looking in Job and Romans, talking a little bit about being delivered from evil.
Okay. Well, it's going to be another great day as we worship together. Special guests are with us, and I trust that you'll consider coming and being a part of the fellowship as we worship together Sunday morning at 10:15 here at the Village Church, or Sunday evening at 6:15. Have a wonderful weekend.
It's time now for our Shell Point TV Week in Review, and we began this week by promoting a charity 5K walk called the Scope for Hope.
I'm Mary Franklin with the upcoming Health Connections program, a Shell Point Cares program that is going to be very moving, and I'm here with two ladies that will motivate you to get involved and join the Scope for Hope 5K run or walk on Saturday, March 29th, which is a date change, so mark your calendar on the 29th, not the 22nd. We're going to do a bus run to this event, so we're going to pick everybody up on the island at 7 o'clock, Woodlands 7:10, and Eagles Preserve 7:20. And yes, that is a.m., so you have to get up early. We'll be picking you up early and heading out to Hammond Stadium for the Scope for Hope. Ladies, thank you for being here today.
Well, thank you for having us.
Dr. Gao, you are here. You are the event chairman. And Vera Owens, you are a survivor with a wonderful story, and we're going to get to you really soon. But Dr. Gao, let's start with why you do Scope for Hope, and what does it mean for our community?
Well, this is actually all Vera's idea because, you know, as you'll find out, that she is a cancer survivor. And one day she approached me and said, you know, I want to help people. And so the Scope for Hope raises money for people who can't afford it to go and undergo colonoscopies. So as you know, colonoscopies are recommended by as a screening tool for people who are 50 and over. But not only is it a screening tool, it's the only tool that we have that can prevent colon cancer. And with the economy, with people losing their jobs, with no insurance, there are a lot of people who forego their health.
Right.
And so with this program, we can actually help them undergo this very life-saving tool.
Bring awareness to the community, especially to people who are young, maybe not thinking about it. This is a great way to bring awareness. And Vera, I commend you. Most of the times we go to these walks and it's a big corporation or a big nonprofit organization that's putting this on. This started from you, and what a wonderful job you have done.
Thank you.
Thank you. What does it feel to you on that Saturday morning when the crowds gather and you know, I did this and I'm making a difference?
Well, I just feel so excited and very, emotional because I just think that the money that we raise is going to help people. When I first found out about my cancer, it was like, I was shocked. I didn't know what to say.
Right.
Then I went to see Dr. Gar, and she did the surgery and everything. I just felt blessed, and I felt like maybe this is something that God gave me to help other people, you know. And that particular day, I would say almost a year later, I met her in the hall, and I said, Dr. God, I would like to see you. And she looked at me, what's wrong? Because she thought maybe I was sick. I said, oh, nothing is wrong. Please come in the conference room. I said, you know what? I want to have a race. So then, you know, we got the race together with Dr. Gar help. Then we got everything start going, but I just feel like it's my baby. Every time it's time to have it, I get nervous and everything. I want all this money to come in.
And this race is going to be fantastic. It's at Hammond Stadium. There's a little bit for everyone. We're inviting our residents and our employees to attend and their family members. They can do a 5K run. Or walk, or they can choose the 2-mile route.
Yes.
And we start and end at Hammond Stadium. Yes. Great location, right, with the restrooms and everything right there. And we'll be taking our Shell Point bus. We'll be picking our residents up. And Shell Point residents, you'll be wearing your Shell Point Cares t-shirt. If you sign up and this is your first race that you've done with us, you let us know at the desk and we'll get you a Shell Point Cares t-shirt. And the donation that we are making, Shell Point is making, is through our community thrift store. And we're proud to sponsor this event. And we appreciate it. We're looking forward to it. And it's going to be a great morning. Wonderful weather on March 29th. Well, we hope to have a big busload and lots of Shell Point employees participating in this event. If you would like to sign up, you can do so at either service desk. And again, it's on March 29th. Recognize that date change, and we start picking everybody up on the island at 7 a.m. It's going to be a great time. We'll head back to Shell Point probably around 11:30 a.m. And as always, there'll be booths and stuff there. You can get some goodies, and all of that will be there. So we're looking forward to this event. I'm Mary Franklin with Health Connections. Make it a happy and healthy day.
It's the final Academy class of the spring semester, with Adrian Kerr discussing the history of Pakistan and Afghanistan.
Hello everyone, I'm Terry Koleth and I'm here with Professor Adrian Kerr. We're speaking about a course he's doing in the Academy on Pakistan and Afghanistan. Thank you for joining me, Adrian.
Thank you, Terry. It's always a pleasure.
I've been waiting for this course. I know you've been back and you've gotten some more information and you're ready to share the history with us in 2 sessions this semester, and then to come back and start our summer semester with the most current information.
Yes, it's a 3 parts. The first 2 parts are the history, which brings us up to the early parts of the 20th century, and then we have a separate part in May where we focus on the development of the independent of Afghanistan, and also the Russian invasion and the Taliban and Al-Qaeda and all those issues, and where Afghanistan and Pakistan are going in the next few years.
Fascinating. It just boggles our mind to see how this happened. And history is a way to discover how we got to today, isn't it?
Most of us only know of Afghanistan because of the involvement of the Soviets in the last 20 years or so, and our own involvement in Afghanistan. But Afghanistan has a tremendous history. It goes back to Alexander the Great's time, for instance. He came through Afghanistan. Then there were periods where Afghanistan was a dominant empire in its own. Not many people realize that it grew to dominate southern Asia. It dominated parts of Persia. It spread into Pakistan today, and even at one time it invaded northern India. And it's through Afghanistan that we have the Mughal Empire, which is wrongly named, of course, but it's the area which it's the culture that led to such wonderful buildings as Taj Mahal, which is a fusion of Indian culture with Afghan and Persian culture. So although we see it as 3 separate countries, Pakistan, Afghanistan, India, it's really only in recent years, since 1947, when India and Pakistan were separated and Afghanistan was separated, that that we see them as three separate countries.
That's when Afghanistan was separated also?
Well, Afghanistan was given its notional independence by the British before that time, before the 40s. But until the one time when it was ruled by Britain, of course, it's just one area. Right. And there's a lot of difficulty in trying to keep Afghanistan under control, as the British would say, because Afghanistan itself is a terribly, terribly poor country. Its only wealth is poppy and opium. But it was very important strategically because it was the buffer state between the British, India and Pakistan in the south, and the expansion of Russia, who wanted to keep moving south and take over some of the British colonial area. And so Afghanistan became the buffer state, hence its importance for Britain, hence the two wars that Britain fought to control Afghanistan, unsuccessfully I should say, because it was called the Great Game, as the Victorian politicians were mapping out different strategies throughout the world, from China to India to the West. This poor country, Afghanistan, happened to be in the middle of two great powers and suffered. But of course, we now know that it was successful. It's thrown off all of its conquerors from the very, very earliest days, and may even resort to being an independent fundamentalist regime in the next few years. So Afghanistan has a repetitive history, which unfortunately many of us have not totally thought through when we got involved.
And the names, Alexander the Great, the Kushan Empire, the barbarians, they're still, they still can strike terror. Just the might of them and the history.
Yes, Afghanistan and northern India were on the Silk trade. The Silk routes between China and Western Europe passed through these Tajikistan, Uzbekistan, as we call them today, but of course they weren't called that. They were tribal areas between China and Turkey, and the caravans would pass east and west, moving goods from the China to Europe, and they would pass through nearby Afghanistan, and Afghanistan became a very wealthy, important country in its own right. And as you said, the Kushans expanded down into and took over India, northern India, and they were great Buddhists. They'd been converted to Buddhism, and the notorious Taliban activities in the first part of this century, they destroyed these huge 80-foot-high statues of Buddha in the north of Afghanistan, and that was one of the most serious attacks on the Buddhist culture. And the good news is, we'll talk about it in the talks, that they are now collected the pieces from the dynamiting, and they're now about to start rebuilding one of the two great statues.
Well, we are going to look forward to starting with prehistory, Pakistan and Afghanistan, 2 Tuesdays, the 18th and the 25th, that will leave us waiting with bated breath for May 6th when we hear about current Pakistan and Afghanistan.
Looking forward to it, Terry.
We enjoyed a poetry reading from Dr. Erwin Rudolph, who recited from memory this comedic passage from Love's Labor's Lost, where he describes a cold, wintry day.
When icicles hang by the wall, and Dick the shepherd blows his nail like that, and Tom brings logs into the hall, and milk come frozen home and pale. When Buddy's nipped and ways befouled, and nightly sits the stirring owl, to wit to who a merry note, when all around the winds do blow, and coughing drowns the parson's song. Well, in wintertime, people cough a lot, and the preacher is preaching, and it's cold. Coughing drowns the parson's sermon. And birds sit brooding in the snow, and Marian's nose looks red and raw. When roasted crabs hiss in the bowl, then nightly sits the staring owl, to wit to who a merry note, while greasy Joan doth keel the pot.
We visited the home of Pam Blau of Cameo, who has gotten the most out of her small space.
Hi, I'm Bobby Brown, and this is another edition of Amazing Space. Today, we're on the island, so you're going to see some wonderfully creative things in this apartment.
Okay, Bobby, this is my little kitchen here, and one thing, I had the advantage of visiting here last spring when this was Barb Palmquist's apartment, and she's a good friend of mine, and I was able to see how she had things set up, and it gave me an idea of different things that maybe I could do to make use of the space that I had and make it go even a little further. So one of the things I did was I asked Ted Benjamin if he wouldn't mind putting in another row of tiles, and that helped an awful lot to make it seem a little bigger and maybe save a little bit on the carpet. So I had this extra row of the tile put in. This is something I brought from the farmhouse up in Pennsylvania. It was yellow before, and my daughter-in-law painted it white for me because I knew that was the theme I was going to go with. And so once I decided on that with the butcher block top, I was able to find this island, and it really has added a lot. And it gives a lot of space for me because, as you can see, there's only about a foot of counter space in these small apartments. But it really helps that I have a place to set things down. And
where did you find this?
You won't believe it, but I saw it the first time in a Big Lots. And it's not the place that most people go to find their furniture, but this is what I was looking for, and it was perfectly what I wanted.
It works.
So it was really a nice find.
Now,
for
is
me.
there a cupboard on the other side?
Yes, I have 2 doors down on the bottom and 2 drawers, and the same with that. So it gave me 4 extra cupboard areas and drawers, and that made it really nice, and a really nice spice rack that I can pull out in the center. So I really enjoy it a lot. When I came to visit Barb, I noticed that there was this little cutout here, and I remembered that we had this, well, it was an ugly green thing back on the farm, but she painted that white for me too, my daughter-in-law, and it makes a really nice place to store a lot of plasticware and odds and ends of little appliances and things like that. And another thing that I knew when I moved here was that I wasn't going to have a lot of counter space as far as or bookshelf tops and things like that to have a lot of photography, like a lot of people have a lot of frames and things of their families. So I had found these years ago, and they're just magnet things that will stick right on a metal thing, or they can either be put on the wall. But
it's a wonderful way to do a little collage of
my
your
family with me. Yeah, and this too is another thing I recently got that is a nice thing that just keeps pictures rolling all the time and makes it nice to keep my family near me when they're so far away. So,
Pam's former husband was a pastor, is that correct?
Mm-hmm. Correct. Mm-hmm.
And this was your family home?
His family's home, the Blau Farm, and it's about 100 years ago it looked like that, and now it looks like this. It's got 4 levels to it and a lot of space, and so when I decided to make the move, I knew that there were many things that I wouldn't be able to bring with me, and then a couple pieces that I wanted to buy that would go well in this space. So it was a lot of downsizing and a lot of giving things away and leaving things behind. And
soul
that kind of
searching.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. There was one special piece that I really wanted to make sure came with me, and I had people tell me, oh, you shouldn't take that, it's too big, it won't fit, and all this, but I decided to bring it, and I wanted to. This is an antique organ from 1893 that I just got about 4 years ago, and I knew that I wanted to bring it with me, even though it's so big, and it seems to fit right in here. It doesn't go with the seashells and that kind of lifestyle, but I just really wanted to have it with me. It's a unique piece, and I really enjoy having it here.
And then we have this wonderful rocker here.
Well,
I like to sit in that rocker.
Yeah,
it's
right.
a fun rocker to sit in.
When you're from Pennsylvania or Ohio, you're familiar with the Amish community. And this is just one of the hickory rockers that was for sale. I think I got this one in the Lancaster area. However, I used to live near the Amish area in Ohio as well. But it's really comfortable. You wouldn't think so, but it's very comfortable. I knew that I wanted to have a little bit more space so that I could do reading out there, have some sunshine. That's the wonderful part of being in Florida. So I asked to have my lanai totally enclosed, and also they put tile down on the floor. So I leave my door open all the time, and that way I can sit out there to eat or to do my reading or other things that I just like to do. And I have a wonderful view here. I can see the pond and the river as well, and so it's just a really pleasant place. I really enjoy being out there. When you do come to such a small area and you are going to be downsizing, you sort of pick and choose those things that you want to bring with you, because obviously you can't bring a lot, so you just bring the things that have special meaning to you. And so that's what I've done in family things and some of my shells. I like to go to the beach and gather shells, so it's lots of fun to have those things with me here.
Pam's other major interest which I find fascinating, is in Judaism.
Through the years, I've gotten a couple different things that have meant a lot to me, and I'll show you these plates that I have back here that my husband had gotten me before. This one here is of the 12 tribes of Israel, and this one is Moses and the 10 Commandments. And so I have various books and things here, and I could mention too, this bookcase was made by Jim Mayer, who lives in Genonia, very good, handy man, and he had these in his apartment, and when I was visiting in the spring, they showed me theirs, and I liked them so much and knew they'd fit so well in my hallway that he made this set of shelves for me, and I really appreciate them. Give me a place to put something.
And they're narrower than a lot of bookshelves are way too wide that you would not be able to put them in this hallway.
About 7-inch, I think, is all they are. So they really hold a lot.
Perfect for books, and they do hold a lot.
Well, I had planned to bring a queen-size bed with me because I knew that if I was going to have my children come down to visit, I'd have to have a place for them to be able to stay. So I wanted to bring a queen-size bed, so I had to sort of plan around how much room I was going to have, just needing enough walking space, and then be able to bring a dresser and some other things that I would have to have in here. My computer area is there, and then I have these 2 closets that I had Dottie Morrison. Actually has been very much of a friend to me, and she helped me when I was in the process of moving, and she had a gentleman come and put those together for me, and they add an awful lot of storage space for me, and I really appreciate having those. One of the other things that I really was hoping to be able to have once I got here was a place to put necklaces and jewelry, because there just isn't a lot of space for that. So a good friend of mine, Don Dragoo, who works in the wood shop almost every day, was willing to make me this from a picture that I showed him out of a magazine, and it's just basically a place to put all my necklaces. So in my bathroom here, these are my 2 closets where all my clothes are, and storage areas there, and this is one of the new spa showers that Shell Point is putting in now, and I really enjoy that. It's very nice. And then from the farmhouse, I brought a couple things with me. This I took right off my bathroom wall at the farm and brought, because then I can store a lot of towels and things like that in there. It adds an awful lot of space. And then I also had them put in for me a mirror that has you can pull them out to do your hair and things, but it adds an awful lot of shelf space in there, so that's why I really appreciate those.
They now are putting in some of the apartments, I noticed they're putting in counter height sinks in the bathrooms where they used to they were lower.
This is much easier on my back.
It's much easier for everybody. I think these are, they seem to be doing more and more of these higher sinks than the older ones that are, the standard bathroom sink level.
But I was able to find really nice, actually shoe boxes, but the drawers pull out, and so it adds a lot of, I have about 4 or 5 of them in here, and then I have them in different areas, so you make your own drawer space, so it worked out okay.
And this is the magic door.
Oh.
This is what we all wish we had.
Oh, okay.
Is the magic door. That's called a pocket door.
You don't have any of those?
No.
Oh, okay. Both that one and the bedroom door are pocket doors, which is really nice because then you don't have...
The pocket door saves so much space.
Yes. I really like
But they have to put them in when they redo the apartment.
I see. Yeah.
So the pocket doors are wonderful. Thank you so much for letting us come to visit you today. You really have created a very amazing space. And I'm sure a lot of our Shell Point residents who have these smaller apartments have picked up some really clever ideas that they could implement in their own home to give them some additional space. And even if you've lived here for a while, maybe your lanai isn't enclosed and you can make arrangements to have that done through Shell Point. And we look forward to the next time we're together in amazing space, and I'm sure we'll have some more fun.
The Shell Point Fashion Show is coming next Friday, March 28th. Want to see what happens at a Shell Point Fashion Show? Here, take a look. There's still time to sign up for your seat at the Shell Point Fashion Show. Just call 454-2249 for more information. Finally, today we talked with Margaret Axtell, who helps to run a children's clothing boutique in Williamsburg, Virginia.
Welcome to Tea Time. I'm glad to see you today. My guest is Margaret Axtell, and I am Eleanor Peace. Margaret, tell me about your career. What has it been?
I have been an elementary school teacher, a church organist, a music therapist, Baskin-Robbins franchisee for 15 years, and we have had the carousel since August 1991, 21 years. Our daughter and I, Marty or Martha, we own it equally. The carousel is on the Duke of Gloucester Street in Colonial Williamsburg, which is the street where all the historical buildings are on the other end. So we're a very high volume store in season. We also rent from Colonial Williamsburg and are required to be open 363 days a year.
Oh, 363?
Yes, we can be closed Christmas and Thanksgiving, and that's it.
You said that one thing you do is help your daughter with buying. Tell us a little bit about your experience as a buyer.
All right. When we go to Atlanta, to the Apparel Mart, we buy pre to 16 boys and girls. And just a little side, the highest volume in our store is 7 to 16 girls. We make sure the clothes are stylish, they're made right. You have to buy right if you're going to keep in business. So we have reports of, for instance, we sold 140 dresses, different styles and size 4. So you check everything when you buy. You also take pictures of everything because the customers like to know what's coming in. And we buy one piece per size, per style. So the customers like it because their children don't see themselves like a lot of department stores are by 3 and 4. So when they come in and they see something they like in size 4, if they don't buy it right then, I've had customers come back that afternoon and it'll be gone. And our companies we buy from, we have about 200 plus different lines. And after you buy, and after everyone buys, this is when they produce the goods.
You mentioned customers. It sounds like your customers come back to your store. What are some of the secrets that keep customers coming back to your store?
And we do have customers, regular customers, local customers, and we have a lot of customers, obviously, from out of state. Social media, Facebook, and shows the new things that are coming in. It gives pictures of things we buy. The customers like to know what we have coming in, and they know about when it's coming in, because they know that they either call us or they come in, and they will call us to see when this is going to be shipped so they don't miss it.
Does that mean that if I lived in California, but I spent some time in summer in Colonial Williamsburg, I'd be able to see what the clothing is in your store by using Facebook?
Yes, it does. And we will send you things, and we will tell you if we have your size or not. If you need another size, you can send it back, and we'll send you the right size if we have it. But we have a lot of people calling, because we have a lot of tourists as well as regular people. Another thing that helps customers come back, I think, is we greet everybody warmly. We have 2 doors. We're a big store. over 2,000 square feet. We have a front door and a back door. We always have at least 3 employees, 1 front, 1 back, 1 middle. Generally speaking, tourists will come in the front, and we say, what size may I show you? That is completely different, and say, what can I show you? And they'll say, oh, I'm just looking. It's important to know where, we have such a big store, it's important to have them know where to go to find things. So that gives them a lot of personal service. Also, it's a big help. We have wonderful employees that have been there for years, and we all work together as a team for the best interest of the customers and the carousel. In the tweens, the tweens are 7 to 16, and it is one of our busiest and highest volume department because they can't find things in department stores that cover. Otherwise they're down to here and down to there, and we make sure we cover things so they can wear them to school, and that they like them, they're stylish, and the parents like them. And while they're trying on, if we say, I don't think you like that, some are hesitant to say, and we say, if you don't like it, don't get it. You need to wear it, and let's find something else. I think that's very important.
Especially for that age.
Yes, especially for that age. And I don't think I've mentioned the playroom. We have a carousel tent that's 3-sided. It's covered in 3-sided because we want to see in. But when the children go in there, they stay in because it's covered that much. We have videos, and we ask them what they'd like to see. We have puzzles, we have books, and they absolutely love the carousel tent and often cry when their parents say, we have to go now. And that is very important in a children's store. The children have to be happy.
That's right. It's no wonder you have so many good customers that keep coming back, and also it's no wonder that you've been in this business for so many years. That's wonderful to care for the children in that way. If something doesn't sell over a period of a season
or 2 seasons, we'll put it on sale the first season, and the second season, since I worked for our wonderful Shell Point store. I volunteer there. Then when we have something, we are going to donate it. When we go to Williamsburg, which we go several times a year, I bring it back to Shell Point's thrift store. And people ask me, Margaret, when are you bringing back some of your clothes? And we actually leave most tags on. So it has the carousel tag, and that's in the middle, and they can see what good quality things they're getting.
And they know it's brand new.
And they know it's brand new.
Yeah.
Yes,
Oh,
and we have a special place for the brand new things.
What a fortunate thing for the community thrift shop.
And for me too, to be in this wonderful place.
What is your greatest pleasure in doing this?
My greatest pleasure is working with our daughter. We actually worked at Baskin-Robbins and Carousel. We have a wonderful relationship. And working with repeat customers. They remember you. I mean, even though I'm not there all the time. Oh, it's good to see you. I'm glad you're here. Now, our daughter Marty, they'll obviously remember because she's there almost all the time. But they even remember me, and they like to be remembered. And so that's very important and fun.
Yeah, that's so good. And I'm glad you find such pleasure in that, even now that you are semi-retired.
I do miss it.
Yeah, I'm sure.
But I couldn't leave Florida. It's so wonderful.
Yeah.
I couldn't leave Florida permanently. It's so wonderful.
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean. I hope that you've enjoyed our tea time today and can join us again. Tea Time has been brought to you by Women's Ministries of the Village Church.
We're glad you joined us for today's show. Tune in next week for more stories and news from around your community. Until then, this is Shell Point Today for the weekend of March 21st, 22nd, and 23rd. I'm Rochelle Chernowski, and from all of us here at Shell Point TV, we hope you have a great weekend, and we'll see you again on Monday.